Giovanni de Niederhäusern.
Giovanni de Niederhäusern, Senior Vice President of the Architecture Division of Pininfarina.
Buongiorno a tutti.
Benvenuto.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome, Giovanni. You are responsible for the business unit architecture of Pininfarina. Of course, Pininfarina needs no introduction. It is a historic brand. We all remember seeing the logo on the side of the Ferrari. I don't know if it is still there, but it has been for a long time. So it is interesting to know about this brand today because, of course, I believe you have so many stories to tell. This brand had a very significant evolution with its ups and downs. It is very known in the automotive world, but 15 years ago, Andrea Pininfarina decided to diversify the potential of the brand, and he acknowledged that the brand should be detached from the product and move towards lifestyle. So he looked at product first, then architecture, which was the last one to be introduced. We now are a structured team. We are in Miami, New York, Turin, Shanghai, and we are replanning our position, and we try to be a brand with purpose, so understand the values associated with the brand that can be relevant for our market, well, for me in architecture, but for the brand as a whole, because consumers choose you for your values, not only for your product. This is true, but only at a later stage. First, values. So you said this division opened in? Well, 15 years ago, we were called Pininfarina Extra because they were very much automotive-centric. And then it was diversified. So is the company listed? Yes. What's the turnover? Who's the main shareholder, pardon. 75% of the company was bought by Mahindra, a big Indian group. So still in automotive, yes, not only though. They are very active in telecommunications, so they do a lot of 5G network. One of the clients said that Mahindra rules the world because, of course, communication is very important sector, so they work in automotive and communication, but they also do resorts. It is also a client of us for architecture, and the rest of the 25% is free on the market. What is your relationship with these shareholders? Well, they're in India, so they're far. Why did they want to buy it? To buy Pininfarina? What is your interaction? Are they happy? What are the goals? They're everywhere, almost in all markets, not only in Italy, but Europe, United States. The relationship is good. I was very much surprised, I have to say, because when I joined the company, I joined 3 years ago, I never had to deal with them, aside from commercial reasons. So the messages, Pininfarina has its heritage, its history is very much connected with the territory, so they didn't want to change the set of values bringing Indian management. Our CEO is still the same. So there is a strong connection with the history of the family.
Quindi dicevi oggi avete molto più dell'auto, quindi avete
So you have more than automotive. You said three realms. Automotive,
oggi chiamiamo transportation, cioè tutto
which
quello
we
che si
call
muove,
transportation now, because
diciamo l'auto in generale, no? Anche se pensiamo alle nostre città,
if we
il mix di
think
mobilità
about
urbana, ha
the
un ruolo che
mix
oggi è
of
sempre più
urban
marginale,
mobility,
almeno dal punto di vista
cars
strategico.
are
Non
a bit
tutte
on
le
the
nostre città
side.
siano pensate in
We
funzione delle
don't
auto.
want
Quindi nella transportation
cities
si
to
occupa
be
di tutti i
thought
mezzi di
around
trasporto,
cars.
disegniamo
So
monopattini elettrici,
we
funivie,
design
aerei,
scooters,
navi, tutto quello che si muove.
ships,
Poi abbiamo un'area
planes,
legata al
etc. Anything that
prodotto,
moves.
sono diversi prodotti
Then
classici
products,
Pininfarina,
we
che vanno
have
dal mondo
iconic
dell'arredo, con Reflex,
Pininfarina
le
products
macchine
such as
del caffè per Lavazza, per
Reflex,
dire veramente molto
Lavazza
ampio.
coffee
Poi
machine,
c'è
so
la parte
it's
di architettura,
very broad. And then we
che va
have the
invece
architecture
dall'interior
side, from
design
interior design
all'architettura in senso
to
stretto,
architecture
tanto
in
anche
its stricter
infrastrutture, in
sense, and
particolare
then
legate alla
infrastructures
mobilità
connected
e
to
ultimamente
mobility,
anche strategie
and
a scala urbana. Che
lately
chiude un po' il cerchio, no? Perché poi dalla
urban
scala urbana
strategies.
lavoriamo con i colleghi dell'auto,
So
perché la
from
mobilità è più
urban
chiara
scale,
quando
we
ripensi
work
un
with
pezzo di
the
città,
automotive
e via,
colleagues
quindi
because
riparte un po' il giro, diciamo.
you know,
il
mobility is
parte
crucial
dell'auto, queste
when
due
you
aree
plan
hanno
a
come
city.
quali sono gli obiettivi
And
di crescita
what
queste due
are
Allora, gli
the
obiettivi sono molto
goals for
sfidanti,
growth?
infatti quei numeri
They are
sono
very
molto sotto
challenging.
pressione,
We are a
ma
bit
va
under
bene,
pressure
nel
with the
senso che
figures we set ourselves.
la direzione dell'azienda
But
è
the
sempre di più
direction
quella di appunto investire anche su ambiti che non sono
is to
necessariamente legati
invest
all'auto.
in areas that are
È un
not
mercato in
connected
forte
with
trasformazione,
cars.
probabilmente
So
l'auto
this is
del futuro non sarà più l'auto
the
che
car
conosciamo oggi,
is
no? Cioè
undergoing many
l'elettrificazione,
transformations because we're
condivisione,
seeing
guida autonoma,
sharing,
porteranno sempre di più l'auto a diventare
self-drive,
una commodity, non
electric
più un
car.
oggetto
So the
iconico,
car will
no?
become
Le
a
nuove
commodity
generazioni
rather than an iconic
sono meno
object. New
propense a
generations
possiedere
are
l'auto. Quindi
less
quelle che erano
interested in
attività,
cars
diciamo, fino
themselves.
direi a
So
3 anni fa, 3-4 anni fa,
up until 3 to 4 years
attività
ago,
corollario, no? Che creavano un po' di
those were
centrali, oggi sempre di più stanno
ancillary
diventando
activities,
centrali.
but they're
Quindi
now
noi, ad esempio, nel
becoming
giro
a
di
focus. So
massimo 2 anni dovremmo
over
arrivare
the course of
come
the next 2 years,
architettura e
as
prodotto
architecture
a
and
15
product,
milioni, che
we
sul
should
fatturato
reach
complessivo dell'azienda
15
comincia a diventare
millions, which
buon,
would account for a relevant portion of the overall turnover. Talking about architecture, what does it mean to have a Pininfarina project? Why a company would want to use a brand? There's many designers, but they are more connected with the identity of the designer itself. What's the role of Pininfarina? When I joined Pininfarina, you came from Carlo Ratti Associati, so well, you know the architecture world very well, yes. But it was a typical architectural firm. You have name and surname at the door.
Invece il mondo Pininfarina è molto
The
diverso.
word of Pininfarina is very different because
come si coltiva la creatività nel car design. Cioè, se tu prendi
it stems from how you cultivate creativity in car design. If you think about the iconic cars,
non sono auto
they are generally Pininfarina, but they are not easily connected to the designers. They are known by the name of the designers, though. So there is a creative director. We have a creative director in the architecture division, but they give a set of values. They give some indication, but each designer puts its input. So we are more autonomous and we are more competitive in attracting talents. Because if you go to a Gen Z person, you tell them you have to work into a firm. When they tell you what to do and what's the color of the handle, they will leave after 6 months. If a company like us wants to grow, we need to win talents because especially in the post-COVID era, the issue is attracting talents. Then if we look at projects, a building is increasingly complex. It's like a machine. I started working 10 years ago and technology accounted for 20-30% of the cost of the building. Now it accounts for 50% of the overall cost. So the architect needs to be able to manage a strong complexity. And this comes from the word of auto, because the technology of design for manufacturing was created in the automotive world. We have our methods of FMA, which we apply to architecture projects as well. This makes us very competitive as well. So there are values, aspects that are technical, aspects that relate to the management of talent, and they are helping us grow, and the feedback from the market is very positive. Even in 2020, the company did not grow, but the architectural division doubled its turnover, and that wasn't easy because we could really meet this challenge. What are the markets that are more interesting for you? Well, if we're talking about, personal satisfaction, for me, Italy is the best market to work in. It's not our market of reference because, as you know, there is not a lot of money moving, so you cannot base your business on Italy. But Italy is still the place where there's attention to quality, details, sensitivity that's not available elsewhere. So I love to work in Italy. It is our research lab. Markets that are more giving in terms of turnover is UK, Spain, Dubai, Saudi Arabia, Middle East. Dubai is very fun to work in. Then China, it is challenging now because it is quite closed. Russia used to be important, but we had to stop. And then we have the American market, so US, Brazil, and Chile as well. We have huge clients who are very loyal to Pininfarina. At first, our customers fall in love with us and then they become loyal. So we have big projects there. We are currently working on 2 gigafactories for the production of batteries, and we're talking 25,000 square meters in the UK and double the size in Italy. What are the types of projects? So you're talking about batteries, factories. In the US, you work more on residential projects. Well, each market has its features. US is Southern America. We do more residential work. Tall buildings. We are the second word brand in terms of branded buildings, the second after Yo. In Italy, in Europe, that's a bit mixed. So we do port, airport, and we do industrial sites. I think this is very interesting because architects don't work that much in this space. Well, up until a few years ago, you wouldn't go to an architect to build production site. The fact that now they come to us for project management, mobility, etc., Pininfarina has become an aggregator, and designers, architects have become a key figure in these processes, because through design we can simplify communication, the communication of complex processes. Design thinking is applied now even in legal bureaus, and it is everywhere. So we need to seize this opportunity, I believe. In Dubai, we do more residential and offices. In Dubai, we have this interesting thing, because in Dubai there was a huge building, and it's very disseminated. Now we're trying to, build better. China is very different. We have a project in the metaverse, so something that's not physical, but it's more digital. China is a very close market, but it's very varied. About design, what is the evolution you see? Here we have furniture companies, design companies. Have you noticed any interesting trend? Some of the trends we apply include, of course, values. So a product, it is not an object that can or cannot work because it has a good shape or good function. It has to be backed by a story, by a set of values that really catches the attention of the consumer. In terms of practicality, looking at products, products. We work with furniture, interior finishes. There is a trend of hybridization between outside and inside of the house. Post-lockdown, we realized that our homes do not provide us with the quality of life we want. We want to be outside more, even if the weather is more extreme, so furniture needs to follow suit. So we launch, for example, a product that is made of both wood and ceramics. The effect is wood and stone. The effect is very interesting, and it connects seamlessly the interior with the exterior. So this function really follows the new lifestyle, the new expectations of the market.
Quindi quello è un'evoluzione.
So this is an interesting evolution.
Dove vedi questo marchio secondo te come potenzialità?
Where do you see this brand in the next years? What can Pininfarina become? What will the evolution be? Well, I can talk about the architecture unit. I would love Pininfarina to continue growing and to acquire a strong identity associated with technological and social aspects, because these are our two souls. Technology can help the end user being more aware of its abilities. In the new generations, we will have people who will be dominated by the technology, and those who will dominate the technology. So I want our architect to be able to do that. From a social standpoint, I want an architect to be able to create positive externalities for the communities on a wider scale. A word that I hear often related to this brand, but we cannot use, is luxury. We were associated with the luxury word, but it is something that needs to disappear, because luxury means something that's just for few people. But in the future, tomorrow, design should belong to everybody. Of course, there can be a premium product, but while you create that, you need to work and maximize local creativity and local specificity, giving back to its communities. Otherwise, it would not be accepted by new generations, but by older generations as well, because I believe that new generations are responsible to be the trendsetter for following generations. So many of us.
Spesso per capire quali sono i trend andiamo a vedere, no, che cosa fanno i quindicenni.
Look at what 20 years old do.
Era considerata la piattaforma dove si facevano i balletti, oggi è
TikTok used to be a very frivolous platform, but now we see it as a platform where trends are born, so it is important to take all of this into account. Perfect, Giovanni, for your contribution. Thank you very much.
Grazie.